Star Citizen has a PvP problem, or more specifically, a griefing problem with a capital G. And like most things in the verse, it's wrapped in ambition, duct tape, and a healthy dose of denial. When Cloud Imperium Games pitched Star Citizen, they envisioned a vast, immersive universe where thousands of players, both PvPers and PvEers, could coexist peacefully, or at the very least, tolerably. The single shard dream sounded amazing, a living universe where risk and reward blended seamlessly. But like every ambitious MMO before it, reality is proving more complicated than theory. Let's be clear, PvP itself isn't the issue. I'm not a Care Bear. Do we still use that term, or did I just prove them over 40? Listen, I enjoy PvP. I'll kill a guy in a fair fight, or if I think he's going to start a fair fight. Piracy, bounty hunting, and player-driven conflict are core to the fantasy and integral to this game design. When it works, it's electric. That heart-thumping moment when your in-game life is on the line and there's stakes you care about. That's Star Citizen at its best. Real PvP like that, though, is very rare. Most pirates in this game aren't looking for a real fight. They're looking for that defenseless guy flying a Carrack solo. Don't be that guy. But griefing? That's not content. That's not gameplay. That's just someone logging in to make sure you log out. And it only works because the game has to allow for PvP interaction. You've seen it. Ship ramming, exploit abuse in armistice zones that are supposed to be protected. Maybe you're just learning how to fly and boom, some guy yeets his Aurora into your hull like it's Demolition Derby night on Hurston. It's not piracy, nothing is gained. It's not roleplay, that's just being a jackass. The game has enough frustrating ways to die, like falling through a planet, dropping into the geometry of the station you're on, or getting stuck when an elevator stops working. The griefing just adds fuel to the fire. Unfortunately, this behavior isn't rare. Despite the existing, partially implemented systems in-game, griefers will continue to find loopholes or simply just don't care about the penalties. While CIG has rules against pad ramming and explicit griefing, enforcement often feels weak or inconsistent. Permabans? Likely never going to happen. Today's sinner is tomorrow's pledge store shopper. The almighty dollar rules all, and the line must go up. Despite it not being a finished game, it's marketed in a live service state without the type of moderation or real-time support that a live service game needs. General chat is a sterling example. I usually turn it off immediately when I enter the game world, and I'm sure I haven't missed a damn thing either. CIG's current solutions revolve around systems like crime stats, prison sentences, and player-run bounty hunts. On paper, these ideas seem solid: commit crimes, gain notoriety, and risk being hunted by NPC security or player bounty hunters. But here's the problem. Determined griefers don't care about the consequences. They log on or swap accounts, evade repercussions easily, and continue their antics. Prison sentences are less a punishment and more a coffee break. Take 5, stretch, break some rocks, and come right back to ruining somebody else's night. Sadly, it's the normal players that often get caught in the law system. I've been to prison more times than the CIG devs had to say soon, and usually for crimes I didn't mean to commit. Friendly fire, bug scans, or that one time I breathed wrong near a security NPC and the AI freaked out. It pretty much ends a play session in its tracks because I don't care enough to get back into the game. Sometimes it's funny, others it's maddening. And it's not just individuals. There's a storm already in full swing. Massive orgs have shown exactly how much territory and content they can lock down just by sheer numbers. And for solo players or smaller orgs, the message is loud and clear: stay away or get flattened. Don't believe me? Well, it's already happened. When 4.0 was released, an org decided that they could exploit the mechanics of heavy armor to monopolize the contested zones with the new high-end loot. While wearing the heavy armor, a player can't be shoved or moved, so they formed a player wall in front of all the contested zone elevators on the station. This would ensure that their org mates in the zone would have completely interrupted access. As their wall was formed on the armistice zone side of the station, nothing could stop them, no one could move them, and it worked. It completely broke the game, the spirit of PvP, and is really a chicken move. I have no respect for anyone that plays like this. Kill me in a fight? Fine. Gloat over my wreckage? Okay, it's gonna happen. But use the law system to wall off content for your own org like it's a Black Friday sale? It's just cowardice and cosplay. It's not emergent gameplay, it's exploitive area denial. This is just one example, and players will ultimately find more. Looking at the MMO genre historically, this isn't new. Ultima Online faced similar dilemmas in its early days, becoming notorious for rampant grieving until the developers were forced to literally split the player base into separate PvE and PvP worlds. EVE Online tries to mitigate griefing with heavy NPC enforcement in high security areas, but even then, clever griefers exploit mechanics, causing headaches for everyone else. CIG wants to avoid splitting the universe or introducing heavy-handed safe zones that break immersion. Instead, they want automated NPC response. The concept is that in UEE space, attacking other players will have NPC ships escalating up to even a javelin, depending on the severity and the ships the players are using. That's no comfort at all to the guy in the Aurora that just blew up before the help arrived. But realistically, can these methods control determined griefers or powerful player groups intent on monopolizing content? It's highly unlikely. After all, players dedicated to griefing or dominating content actively seek ways around rules and punishments. And as we've seen repeatedly, they find them. The introduction of Pyro was intended to separate PvP-focused players naturally, and in some ways it's working. Every time I've tried to go to Sacred's plot, one of the most scenic outposts in the verse, it's on Pyro 4, I've either been killed by a group of players in Atmosphere, fought my way through them, or brought my Polaris as a don't with me card. And while it's annoying, I understand the emergent gameplay the lawless zones foster, and I support that. But if past experiences in MMOs is any other indication, griefers don't stay in dangerous territories. It's far more enjoyable for them to cause chaos in safe areas, preying specifically on unsuspecting victims who just want to trade, explore, or casually enjoy the game. Yeah, still looking at you, solo pilot in the Carrick. You're just asking for it. The dream was always a living universe, but living doesn't mean lawless. It means balance. Star Citizen is at risk of becoming a place where only the biggest orgs, the most dedicated players, or the most aggressive personalities can thrive. That's not a game. That's a cartel with a login screen. And all of this, the griefing, monopolies, the social friction, it matters because it threatens the entire experience. It threatens immersion, it threatens casual players, it threatens newcomers, and eventually it threatens the game's long-term sustainability. What's the solution? There's no silver bullet. If CIG really wants a single shard universe to work, they'll need to get serious about tools for moderation, enforcement, and fair play. Maybe that's smarter law systems, maybe it's better AI, maybe it's more dynamic security responses. Maybe it's something we haven't seen yet. But it certainly isn't Tyler Wicken's response here.
Hi everyone. We recently received a lot of reports detailing excessive griefing and would like to take a moment to openly address the feedback and share our stance. For a majority of these matters, a PvP solution is preferable. Frequently when these scenarios are reported to us, we encourage those that feel they're being targeted to rally their friends and orgs in an attempt to fight back. We're not here to protect players from aggressors, pirates, and PvPers. A big part of Star Citizen is that dichotomy. That epic clash that occurs when opposing forces meet and rally others to their cause. The wars at Jumptown were a prime example of the exciting, emerging gameplay that can blossom when a lawful player comes face to face with an outlaw. However, there's a line that's occasionally crossed where players are going outside the bounds of emerging themselves as a pirate PvPer. Some users are going out of their way to leverage live streams and other mediums to excessively grief. In many of these cases, it's no longer about enjoying the game, but rather disrupting it. Stream sniping, pad ramming, firing into armistones, or utilizing various exploits to grief others. There are a few examples of excessive griefing, which we do not tolerate. If you find yourself on the receiving end of this, we're more than happy to investigate, and in cases where it's warranted, we will absolutely intervene. Simply reach out to us through the support page and make sure to provide as much detail as possible. In addition to better monitoring preventing excessive griefing, we're also exploring a number of in-game changes that should help considerably. More info on that at a later time. Of course, in the future, the law system will also play a stronger role in creating consequences for unlawful behavior. And in the meantime, and all the time, take the sage advice of two wise individuals who posited that we should be excellent to each other and party on whenever possible.
If you're a hockey fan that's seen Slapshot, you know the scene this response is invoking. Leave daddy alone and work it out amongst yourselves, but don't stream snipe, damn it. The drive-by optics of that message sucks, but I can see it from all perspectives. CIG doesn't want to divert resources to an interim solution. Players often don't understand the difference between legitimate PvP and grieving, and bitch the moment they get killed. It's all complicated. If Star Citizen keeps pretending that griefers will behave, or that players will naturally sort themselves out like a polite dinner party, they're in for a rude awakening. Because players don't need a reason to break things. They just need the opportunity. And right now, opportunity is abundant. Truth be told, I don't have all the answers. I don't know how this gets resolved. There's a reason MMOs evolved to separate servers or offer opt-in PvP flags just like Star Wars Galaxies did. Thing is, Star Citizen's already borrowing some of SWG's best mechanics: crafting, player housing, a living economy. I cover all of that in this video, so if that's part of the MMO magic you're still holding on to, the part where you build, trade, and thrive in a universe that feels alive, that's the one you want to check out.